Did I? Somebody better. All right. Hello again. You got Ben Hitchcock Cross talking to you today, who is someone who had someone's been sitting in my seat kind of thing. Was that the Three Bears, right? They've been touching my lights. They've been moving my camera and all sorts of other things with their little fingers. I'm back in my Tron shirt here. Um, but I'm excited and we're gonna cut right to it. So luckily you don't have to worry about looking at me much longer. I'm sure that'll be a great ease. Um, Man, what's that line? PG Woodhouse. We'll leave that alone. A strain on pedestrians and traffic. It's a mustache, is what it is. Referring to here, we have a public records dump that we are going to go look at. We got two things in particular, and we're just going to sort of process this all together. So, attorney live reacts to public records dump from Wisconsin Department of Workforce Development. What could be more enjoyable on your Saturday morning? Is my question to you. So let's assume that if I go here, we're going to look at this screen here. You can look at my fantastic choice of apps if you wish. And we're going to look here. Hopefully this is in, yeah, there we go. I'm sure that I spent 90 hours setting up OBS the first time, and it moves a lot easier the second time, especially with the better computer. But OM, it's a labor of love. All right, enough of the one. I love the theme of I'm the nobody suffers like me, especially on my channel. Okay, so here we have an email from Matthew White to Larissa Benitez Morgan. What's strange about that is, and you'll remember those are the two collaborators on the That's Who She Goes Seeks for Refuge in the hot mic. That's the man who's laughing and saying, unfortunately, when I don't get arrested here. So this is them talking on August 1st, and they're responding to public records request from me. Hi, Larissa. I'm looking at this public records request. Again, I don't know why he's involved in anything. He is the second section chief of the hearing, the investigation section. So he's also the only person who's ever in the building, but maybe he didn't have, I don't know. But it's troubling. Aside from this email thread and the decision itself, are there any records associated with it or other email threads or documents? Question mark. Please and thank you. Aha. And the motion for a protective order that we're talking about, I think relates to Petchacek. So this is her granting an order to the benefit of her, the person who can fire her, the secretary of the Department of Workforce Development, otherwise known as Amy Petchacek. Oh, you can see my right clicks now. We're gonna have to do something about this. All right, bam. Now we got a little bit more information. Here's something that I want you to know. This is, in my opinion, a classic ex parte email between the judge and the old somebody else, an official, or not an official of the agency, a employee. Let's check it out. Here we go. An official of the agency or any other public employee, check, or official engaged in prosecution or advocacy in connection with the matter, kind of check, but we got 1 out of 3, which is kind of all you need. Under consideration or factually related matter, okay, this person is not allowed in a contested case, no ex parte communication relevant to the merits or the threat or offer of reward shall be made before a decision is rendered to the hearing examiner or any other official or employee of the agency who is involved in the decision-making process by any of the following. Okay, so we got to make sure it's either a threat or an offer of reward. Probably going to be more along the offer of reward section, and relative to the merit. So those are the 3 things. And it can't be by an official, a party, we're not talking about that, or a person who is indirectly would have a substantial interest. Okay. So that's the question, was she required to divulge this communication? My feeling is yes. She says, and there's no question it's about this, it says subject, it says the motion for a protective order. And the question is that relative to the merits? I mean, kind of. They're talking about what's in the file, what's not in the file. They got a problem with that one. No, everything is in the file. Every email I received is placed in the file, except this one, for example, as a single line item, noting by any, and we also know that's false for another reason, because we know that the original assignment, the email from Maria Selsor to Benitez Morgan giving her the case, she refused to give that to us. We know it exists. She says it contains a job description. So we know that's false. She's even making a false statement here to Matt White, from what I can see. Every email, so that's the part that I object to, I receive is placed into the file as a single line item, noting any attachments, if any. If there are attachments, I then upload those one at a time, and I number them as attachments 1, 2. I just to them an email from whence they came. Same if I am responding to an email, I describe what it is I reply to, and those get uploaded as well. Here's the problem I have with that statement there. I would generally never say a statement like, I always do this, because I know that I always never do anything. It's my certain pattern to have no certain pattern. But people who do say that are going to get into trouble. For example, they say, I always have security officers at every hearing. They're going to have a problem, because they may come to a point where they don't. So and that's where I was going with this. Let's say they were to say, I always record all the hearings, and those close watchers of the Benitez Morgan Stoller hearing will note she said that. The problem is she didn't do that. So the day 2 hearing recording is now officially lost to everyone. And Maria Selsor encourages the parties to get together on that. Too bad that's your problem. As usual. Essentially, the assistant AG the merits, a motion with 4 attachments. The complainant sent an email objecting, then the respondent sends an email with an attachment. Complainant then sends an email, da-da-da-da-da. Apparently on the 29th, the complainant then asked Heidi for the case log, and she sent it. Then on the 29th, I send an email temporarily staying the deposition, which is subject of the AG motion. Our boss. That's why Matt White's handling it. That's why Matt White's handling it, is my guess, because they don't want a lowly public records to handle it, because it's patch and check. Sends in a letter. I am still working on the response. That's relative. Also on the 29th, complainant sends an email where he states he does not understand the temporary stay decision. So I sent an email to the parties on the 29th, further explaining the temporary stay order with 2 attachments. Then on the 30th, complainant sends the open records request, which I put in the file, and then sent that open records request, putting that email in the file as well. I hope this helps. Larissa. All right. And again, here, besides everything we went over, the big question I have is, why is Matt White? Why are these 2 guys buddies? Why are they working on this case? Again, it's because it's patch and check, in my opinion. But wait, there's more. All right, so this is Catherine A. Walker, Open Records Coordinator, to Matt. Says, since this request for the hearing recording was submitted by a party to the case, could you please confirm that the ERD will process this as a copy request? It's really boggling to me why Matt White is so involved in this, because he's not over the hearing section, but apparently that's how they're doing it. And here's the bombshell. Thanks for sticking with us. Maria Selsor. Thursday, September 26, 2024, 4:25 p.m. I got to check my emails. I will. All right. So I had to go check the record there. I would say about 2 hours before this, the parties had what was supposed to be a hearing to dismiss the case, and we'll get into that. But that we cut that out from under the judge by using the law, and the judge was sit there, kind of having to hear this motion. In that hearing, I told the judge that we were going to record the hearing, and that members of the public would be at the hearing, and let's see what she says that she said. I don't know what we'll see what we want to. Yeah, I frankly think that this is largely untrue, and again, that the whole purpose of having this hearing was to dismiss the case out from under the complainant, um, just as John Galhard attempted to do some months before. Counsel for complainant again wanted to argue that these hearings were open to the public as they were conducted in a state building. Counsel was advised by this tribunal that the administrative hearings were not open to the public. This ALJ regulates the course of the hearing, and that each ALJ has the authority to decide how they wish to conduct and regulate their respective hearings, and that none of this ALJ's hearings are open to the public. Hmm. I guess we saw that they're now all of them are open to the public, huh? Thus, the hearing in this instant matter would not be open to the public. Further, there is no statutory authority providing for an administrative hearing to be open to the public. Okay. Okay. There's just a lot of things in here that I don't think happened, but we'll move on. So here we are. Just a heads up that one of our ALJs in ERD will be conducting an in-person hearing in GEF1, room H306. And now that's where it originally was, but that was too close to where the secretary's people were working. So we had to be moved down to the basement. The hearing is scheduled for 9:30. 10:01, 10:02, 10:04, 10:07, and 10:08, beginning around 9:30 a.m. This is Maria Seltzer to Tina at the front desk. Really weird. Really weird how these overlapping powers, but okay. The parties authorized to be present are Attorney Andrea Olmanson, Attorney Michelle Zacard Craig, Attorney Noah Hitchcock Cross, Attorney Ben Hitchcock Cross, and Joanna Stolar. Okay. The ALJ will let you know if any additional individuals are authorized to come to the hearing room without an escort. All other witnesses, this is after, this is Maria Seltzer and Benitez Morgan have worked this all out between themselves. This is after they've decided what to do about me saying that we're gonna appear there and we're gonna record. And that is, I think, the original outcome, original purpose of why the police are being there. I think that's more and more clear, that the police are there to intimidate us and prevent us from recording the hearing. All other witnesses, people should stay until the ALJ or security officer comes down to escort them personally to the hearing room. So that's the problem. And remember, close listeners of the hearing will remember that we discussed this with the judge, and we said, if you're going to do it you got to give a reason. If you're going to have a security person here, seriously, we're not just going to have a police officer sit behind me, because this smacks of intimidation, which is, some might say that's just what it was. And okay, but she said, I always have a police officer there. It's just to calm everybody down. It's not for any particular person. Remember, she said that to Matt White. She said that in the hearing. She said that. So what do you think Seltzer does? She old FYIs, Ramona Natera and Matt White. Maybe why Ramona's calling and why Matt White's involved and why Benitez Morgan is going to Matt White. And, you just tell me if we're at the merits yet. Let me know when we're getting there, comments, all those sort of things. Okay. Now we're going to get into a little bit of an unfortunate area here, because again, the same people who claimed I was disorderly in the courtroom are going to claim again that I was disorderly afterwards. Needless to say, I've got that recorded. We'll put that up, and if and when we want to do that, if and when we don't. The point is that they ask basically that we are kept separate from each other. Okay. So let's just see what they say here. Oh, sorry, there's more. But wait, there's more. It's the next morning. 8:54 a.m., September 27th. Additionally, this is the front office again. Bam, customer service desk, and Maria Selsor. Additionally, I am requesting that no one be permitted into the hearing room prior to 9 a.m., as that is when Officer Pomeroy from the Capitol Police is expected to arrive. So, careful listeners, can anybody tell us, th- did she say that she knew anything about Officer? He's so sweet. Remember that? We never, Dennis is so sweet. We got that part. But when so we know and can confirm that they knew that the Capitol Police were going to be there, um, as I would say with like 2 working hours after this hearing. And that really is, if you had my, I think really she doesn't want this hearing to come out. I think that that's a fair assessment to make. And let's just see what old Maria Seltzer does. Maria Seltzer sends it to Ramona Natera and Matthew White. FYI. FYI, get on just for your information. And ALJ is doing these things. We haven't had any other previous conversations. None of that. We're just, FYI-ing you. Now, here's something interesting. Okay. So they say I'm a jerk. I'm gonna hold on. Here we go. This is them on the 3rd saying, we want law enforcement officers to be present tomorrow and throughout the remaining hearing dates to ensure decorum and safety for all the participants. That's cool. But just so you know, that's called a motion. You're asking the judge to do something. And now the judge ostensibly ruled on that motion and told her that she didn't have any authority to do any of that. But she didn't tell us that she went to Matt White and discussed with him again. This is ex parte. This is her acting on behalf of the one party, not the other party, and not telling the worker about what's going on. Would you please address the requested item 2 in the below email? And for some reason, there's no other communication from Matt White to Anne Maria Benitez Morgan on this subject. None at all. Just doesn't exist. Shucks dang it. Well, now we know where to make our public records request from, I guess, on the Capitol Police and going forward and so forth. I think we can pin that down. I guess we're gonna have to get somebody's Teams logs and go from there. Wow. Well, that's where we are at. That's the new update, the breaking news that we got in from the hot mic judge here. You know, the main problem that I have here is that this does not seem to me to line up with many of the things that Benitez Morgan said during the hearing about these very subjects, and certainly didn't communicate any of these things to the parties. So you can say that's not about the merits, but that's not my understanding. Certainly, there was a motion. I mean, it's unbelievable that she's going there. As the state of Wisconsin is asking the state of Wisconsin to have police there the whole time, and the state of Wisconsin asked the state police to be there because of me, which is what they're saying. We've learned that, but nobody tells me that. Again, we learned that we knew that, but here we have it in writing. And how many people said just the opposite? How many times did Benitez Morgan say something else? So, thanks for sticking with us. This is not the Wisconsin I grew up in. That's all I can say. And if it was, we're going to make it better because this has got to change. Take care. Thanks for sticking with us. We'll keep you informed.